Oh yeah, new character. Freya.
I always deliver. Never stood a chance.
Oh.
I'm on.
Okay, left alt. And then track or enemies hit by 3 regular bolts in quick succession are revealed for 4 seconds. Eliminations grant 2% ultimate charge. Killing blows grant 4. Wait, that's kind of nuts. Okay. Wait, hang on. What about the other abilities? So E is the updraft. Okay. Wait, I already have another one. Updraft grants a temporary free use of quick dash. Jobs done after killing blows on 5 unique enemy players permanently reduce the cooldown of take aim by 20%. Wait, that sounds cool.
Don't mess with the best.
Okay, and that's the dash. What's the ult? I'm guessing that's like the bola.
Double kill.
So wait, what happens when I use?
What a shame.
Okay, there isn't more perks. I'm already max level perks. Wait, that's pretty cool. It's the big man himself. Hello. Come join me. I am playing horrendously. My buttons are all wrong. My DPI, I don't even know what it is. This is embarrassingly bad. Whoa, 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 whoa. What do you mean?
They can't see that my headset cord is draped across your mouse arm right here. That looks so uncomfortable.
I don't know why, but my mouse cable is only about 3 inches long too, so I can't. I'm fighting an uphill battle here.
okay, it's a valid excuse. I don't know what to do with this. I'm just gonna like hold it up in the air.
You can let it.
I don't know. It's like, it's a little, almost like intimate, you know, like having it drape across you, like.
Yo, dude, I actually might not finish the game with perks. Like that's how bad it's been.
Oof. You're a little rusty. That's all. It's okay.
I'll have to find
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Why? What? I just
Don't worry about it.
haven't had the time.
That's it. Life gets crazy sometimes, right? I get that.
Life things are coming up, you know. You never know. How you been? How do you feel about today so far?
I'm actually like so excited. It's really cool to see everybody here, see a lot of the reactions that are happening, you know, because like one of the things is you get used to all the content.
Yep.
And so it becomes less exciting to you over time.
Yep.
And so then by the time it like actually goes public, you're just like, God, what do people actually think of any of this stuff? Is this big? Is this exciting? You know, and so far it feels like people. I know it's like very early, you know, so we'll kind of see what happens, but it seems like there's a decent amount of excitement. Oh, nice job.
For sure. I'm gonna hit absolutely none of these because my buttons are wrong. I don't right click. I have my buttons flipped. Normally, I left click railgun, right click. Otherwise, it just feels wrong.
When you've got a moment, you've got to purchase selects too.
True, actually.
And it's like the first few times you do it, it's tough because it becomes muscle memory eventually, and you'll kind of know what you're gonna pick before you do it. You just hit the option button and then click your way into it.
Is there any perks that you're a huge fan of, like you're most excited for?
I'm kind of excited for the zany ones, you know, because I want to see what people do with some of the zanier ones. Although I was just watching Karq use the Ana-nade because it bounces. You'll toss it. It's her minor. You'll toss it. It'll explode and then it'll bounce and do another 50 afterwards.
That's crazy.
And he threw it straight down and bounced it in the air so it would land on him again. And I'm like, oh my God, that's genius. Actually, it was like his first instinct was to do that. So that was like actually pretty cool. I really want to see Torbjorn pocketing a Reinhardt. That's like my dream is to see that because Torbjorn gets to heal armor with his hammer.
Wait, what? I didn't see that.
So it was actually even on the video, but there's a lot of text in that video because there's a lot of screens with stuff up. So I really want to see that moment and like I don't know, maybe that's like not the right thing to do, but pocketing the Reinhardt and then tossing the turret up on walls while you're doing it is gonna be crazy. Some of these perks like actually came from April Fools. You know, so
Yeah,
like,
I had a feeling of that.
yeah, Torbjorn, like he had one where he could toss it onto walls and allies,
EMP,
you know,
watch out, EMP.
and we thought that was maybe a little bit too far to go for a perk tossing on allies. But
What in the world just happened? Rack has so much faith in me, and I don't understand why. I'm not doing anything.
did you? Oh, you already? I didn't even. I wasn't even watching. You already selected your last perk too.
Yes.
What'd you take?
I took the double power slide.
Okay.
Because I'm just
Oh my
feeding, so at least I have
gosh.
another chance to survive.
That's good. I like some of the perks that I really like are the ones that either give you an extra button,
Yep.
change the way that an ability works to where the button works differently, or it gives you like an extra charge of something, so you just feel like you have like more to press, right?
Yep.
Because that's like one of the things. It's
I
like
didn't know it was
there's a
mic
bit
on,
of
my bad.
extra depth to the heroes now that
Yeah.
we didn't have
Alright, chill,
before.
I reported you. Join. Don't worry.
And when you actually get to feel it by pushing buttons,
Yeah.
it's like I don't know. I think it's more impactful.
No, it is. I agree. I like having the extra buttons to press on sometimes too. Like I was testing on the training range before we got in, the Rhine change where you get to shield bash. That's
Yes.
so cool.
Yes. And it's like it's an extra button, and it's
got
extra
you,
thing
don't
to
worry,
think
I'm gonna
about
be
right
quiet.
there.
Thank
you
you. I
know?
got you, don't worry.
It's weird when we first started development on Overwatch. This is like a long time ago, 2013. We were like so focused on simplicity for heroes, and we always had this example where we split one of the Titan classes
Yup. Oh, what the heck?
into Genji and
Yeah.
Hanzo. We turned it into 2 heroes, right? And we're like, hey, anytime a hero gets too complex, it just means you're supposed to be making 2 heroes out of it. And it was. I'm looking back on it, and I think it was like the right call for the time.
Yeah.
I think gamers maybe gotten more sophisticated, especially like in like the hero shooter genre or just the shooter genre. I think it just take more, you
Yeah.
know. And so I think that it took us a little while to recognize that, but now that we have, we're starting to double down on it, especially for stadium.
Yeah, I would love to see characters that have even like more things to do just in their kit, like whether it's through the perks, whether it's through like just their abilities or whatnot.
Yep.
I think it's just fun because like there's a lot of times where you know like you have certain characters that are like more two-dimensional sometimes. Like Ryan is a good example. Like over time, just feels like doesn't have as much of a kit as like say Hazard, right?
Yeah.
But it's such a
Oh,
low
man,
character.
I got you.
That it's like I'd love to see them have more of an opportunity to do
Not dying
things.
on me.
And also like you know small things, whether it was just like April Fool's stuff like you were saying
Oh,
before.
honestly, guys, I
like,
thought we were losing.
I think when we were doing either April Fools or something
Oh,
like
that's good.
you know people just like come up with ideas like the eating Sigma damage to get your rock cooldown faster.
Yep.
Like that kind of stuff is like stuff that's been talked about in the community for forever, and now it's actually in the game, and there's ways to like build
Run,
around
guys,
that
trying
if
to
you want to
stagger
do
us.
that. I
Yeah,
think it's really cool.
I love that too. And it's like those
guys are
little
spreading.
skilled gameplay loops also that you can go through to where it's like, hey, I did something right. Now it's going to affect what my hero is going to be able to do. I think that we're starting to look at more stuff like that, and there's some of that in perks also. And the nice thing about perks is there's room to do more. You know, so it's a system that
their new perks
that
flow.
lets us like change the game a bit over time. So it's like before, it's like we could balance heroes or do a rework or add a hero, but now it's like we can balance perks, but we can also add and remove perks easier than we can like rework a hero. You know, and then we can do big refreshes of perks, you know, like we're planning on doing that, you know, like hopefully a few times a year we can do bigger refreshes to all the content in it. And then I think that there's like maybe, and you were getting at this a little bit, maybe there's like an upgraded version of perks that we could always explore in the future. I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. This hasn't launched yet, so like if players really love it, then there's like opportunity.
I'm gonna ask you for like as much juice of info as I can possibly
right?
get.
God, the team's gonna hate me after this one.
They won't see this. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh, let's start talking about perks 3.0. You know, like we'll we'll get it all designed out.
Oh, I got an insta queue. Wow. Okay. I was gonna hop back in the training range because it was the Torb one was actually I didn't see it. I wanted to go look at it real quick. But
Yeah.
I think we got an insta queue.
That's a tough. His major is a tough pick. Like, do you want to be throwing the turrets on walls or do you want level 3 turret? Okay, here's like an interesting.
It's okay. I'll play Torb and I'll get to see it.
An interesting little tidbit about the Torb one is you know, he obviously used to have a level 3 turret,
Yeah.
you know? And even though he hasn't had one for a long time now, the art team, whenever they do a new Torb cosmetic, they always do it for the level 3 turret, just in case it were to ever come back, you know? So we've had it the whole time, and now it's like, yeah, we get to do it.
So I gotta ask, you know how like sometimes there's like new shield generator stuff, like or voice lines?
Ah!
Is this kind of like why that might even exist? Like certain voice lines or certain like things that, you know, for a long time, it's like, you know, like for example, Symmetra, like some characters that are new have like, oh, there's a shield generator voice line.
Right. Sometimes we have like a list of like, hey, you just have to make sure you cover all of this stuff. But yeah, like, I don't know, like maybe we go back to it. Symmetra is not in Stadium at launch, but man, I would be really surprised if Symmetra didn't get something like a shield generator in Stadium as one of her powers, you know?
I'd love to see that. I think that'd be cool. Yeah. I think especially after playing Classic, like, you know, as much as I think the current like days Overwatch feels better, like where like there's more to do, there's more urgency, the characters have more like punchiness. There's something still about like a lot of those old abilities or old kits from like the original like Overwatch stuff that just feel really fun and nostalgic and cool to have.
Yep.
And it's like giving players the power to have that whenever they want is, I think, super valuable.
Yeah, and there's even something about opting into some of that stuff too. It's like, I do like that about the perk system where there's just like that player agency component to it where when you get to affect your gameplay a little bit more, like you're almost the game designer sometimes, you know? I think it's a better feeling, and that's like, I know there's obviously been a lot of talk about hero bans over the last few months, but that's one of the things that like hero bans gives you is like that ability to control your gameplay experience.
Is that coming in 16? Okay,
Yeah, so that'll
16.
be April.
Yeah.
And then map voting is after
Yeah.
that. Hopefully the season.
It
after
feels like you
that.
guys just went through the checklist of like everything everyone's been asking for and was like, okay, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Like at least, you know, over the years, like whether it was either hero bans or map picks or map ban or whatever it might be, it really does kind of feel like a culmination of all of it. It's like, yeah, here it is all at once. And I mean, I think this is the smart way to do it too, because, you know, for years, like, you guys have done a really good job, like, making small implementations or making small changes, right? Like, even just this past, like, week with, like, the Jade weapon thing.
Yeah.
It's like, we've kind of all talked about that for a year, and it's like, well, now it's like, okay, you know what, you'll be able to get it beyond. Great, but, like, when there's small things, like, a lot of times, unless you're a really hardcore player or someone who follows the community really closely, you just miss those things.
Yeah.
And so having it all come out right now and being all be in one spot, like people are gonna remember, or at least like know, like, oh, these systems are in the game, like, oh, these things are there. It's like, it gives them a chance to, like, your more casual players that maybe haven't been playing as much, I guess, like, they have so much to look forward to now. I think that's cool.
Yeah. It was intentional with this release to like really kind of like stack it up. And part of that is because it's like last year for season 9, we tried to do like a larger sort of like, we called it, internally we call it the PvP refresh.
Our enemy is
and so we did that with,
powerful.
you know, like comp system and a lot of the like the health and projectile and passive changes that we put into the game. And we kind of looked at it afterwards. And we thought that it was successful from the point of we should be doing something like that each year. But at the time we were very careful to like not promise it, you know. But I think unsuccessful in the view that like it wasn't big enough, you know. And so Perks was specifically supposed to be the bigger version of what season 9 was for season 15, and like, and we talk about like internally we talk about like, hey, what's season 21 supposed to be, you know? Because it's like one of the things that I wonder about Perks is like, will this be big enough, you know? And I think it brings a lot of healthy things to the game, a lot of things for us to do, but one of the questions we'll have is this a big enough system for us, and should we be going even bigger than this next year? And like, I would think from a player's point of view that like, most players want us to be taking risks and doing big things, as long as, you know, we kind of hit it
Yeah.
and do it well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I feel like for a long time, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like, Overwatch has been around for so many years, right? And, like, so many people love the whole franchise and everything that comes with it. But, like, you know, when you play a game for so many years, it's like, you know, you've done everything. You've hit 9 million shatters. You've blocked a bunch. You know, you probably went on an arc where you learned off rolls that you don't normally play that often or don't enjoy it as often.
Yeah.
This, like, opens up so many new ways to play the game. And I think that's just going to be super fun for everyone.
Yeah.
And I would personally like to see you guys be more aggressive with that type of stuff, where like stuff like this, right?
We're aligned. I love this. We're aligned.
Yeah.
We want to be more aggressive also, you know, so I totally agree. Like, this is going straight into comp on day one also, you know, like
Really?
old
Nice. I
Overwatch
like that.
would have probably been like, well,
Yeah.
maybe we hold it back and like just double check, right?
Yeah.
Just make sure it's right. But it's like, enough comp players want to play.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we'll probably be more aggressive. It doesn't mean every season gets to be as big as season 16.
Yeah,
you know, like we're not going to be able to do that. But we will be. We'll be looking to do bigger things, taking bigger risks, and being a little bit looser with some of this stuff. Yeah.
Is there anything you're super like? Or are you like really excited for Stadium or for the perk stuff more? Like,
They're pretty different, and you know what's weird about it is. I think it could actually just be two different pools of players, you know, without a lot of crossover. Right now, there's actually a lot of crossover between comp and quick play. You know, there's like a pretty big chunk of players that go back and forth between those. Stadium might just be Stadium players. And it actually means a lot for us in development because it means that like a big Stadium release doesn't get the rest of the player base excited. So we have to like know that like, hey, you've got to still be focusing on both sets of people in the game. But so like the Stadium is the most different thing that we're doing. So I think that inherently it's going to feel bigger and more exciting, you know, and also riskier, you know, because it's hard to know exactly how players are going to react to it. We have fun with it, you know?
Yeah.
The 3P is fun with it too. I cannot wait to see what you all think of
The 3P?
the third person.
Oh yeah, that's okay. That's wild, and it's so funny. I'm actually glad because like, you know, like people always said for Overwatch stuff, it's like. Even something like skins, right? It's like, well, you don't always get to see your own skin, you know, because you only get to see like whatever is in your hand. I think little things like that will probably go really, really a long way for people. Just like you can have the option to do either, you know. It's like if you like third person, do third person.
It's actually pretty crazy. So like, and the reason we did it wasn't for to see the skins, you know. It's like it's a mode that is a little bit more focused on abilities than aiming, you know, and because. That like you can get a lot more movement in there. Team fights get crazier. People are all over the place. You know, it's like Genji can basically just be up in the air all the time if he wants to be.
Yeah.
And it just becomes too much to track in 1P, and so I think it actually works better in 3P. But yeah, there's been a lot of moments of us playing the game going like, oh my god, I can see the green on my boots when I'm Juno boosting. You know, and like. There's just all these like things that you don't really notice all of the time that suddenly you notice in that camera perspective. So yeah, I think Stadium works better. Like it's not as visceral.
Yeah.
Like landing in honestly does not feel as good in 3P as it does in 1P, right?
Really?
Yeah, I mean there's just something about like that moment of just like that connection between two players. You don't quite get it, but I think it's better for that particular game mode.
I'm trying to pronounce that. Temporary use of to get 5 killing blows on unique enemy players. Yeah, I ain't getting that done today, so I'll take the other one. I don't think my aim's ever looked worse, but you know what? It's kind of humbling.
It's good. The cool thing with Wind Dasher is I can't do it because there's a lot of muscle memory to this one. Is the dash resetting your right click, you know? So it's like normally there's a long reload on the right click, but you can do it. You can right click, dash, like, or alternate fire, dash, alternate fire.
What is okay, sorry, I just...
Yeah.
You guys doing text in the the little float like that is so cool. Like, if I could hit a shot right now, I bet it would look cool.
I think we're like, I probably shouldn't even say this now. Like, I'm so bad with
I won't tell
like
anybody.
staying on message, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this will just be between
us.
the
Nobody,
two of us.
we didn't.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I think that it is like really iconic the way that she slows.
Yeah.
But the primary fire on Aqua, the season 18 hero, is the most like one of the most unique we've ever done. I think it's like
Really?
kind of amazing. Yes, that's all I can say.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take
So
that. That's
awesome.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh. Because I got the perk for the extra dash. Oh, please. I'm stuck in a corner.
Yeah, that's my biggest pet peeve in the game is getting stuck on corners.
I literally just lived though because of the perk.
Yeah, nice.
And then I died because I didn't use it properly. Cool.
Sorry, like these aren't always when you have a group of like 30 people, they're not always the best match made.
Well, I'm also playing like an absolute bot right now because I don't even know what DPI I'm on. I have no idea. I've just been kind of winging it.
That's my shot.
And then also like if I go over here, I can't.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
running out of. It's been a fun series of events today because so apparently Emong and me have the same account, so we were fighting where I was signing him out and then he was signing me out. Yeah, so
I love that it's the
start.
two of you too. That's pretty amazing.
Well, because I kept signing out and someone else, I'm like, I don't know who it is, but I'm warring with somebody, and then somebody came in and said, Emong keeps getting signed out. I was like, oh, that's me. So I went in there and checked. He was talking to Gavin. No, but yeah, that's me. My bad.
That's so great.
I'm glad to be here. This has been super fun, and getting to see all this and play all this, and know that like this isn't something that we're gonna be seeing in like 6 months from now. We're gonna be seeing this in like what, like a week or two or something like that.
Yeah, less than a week for season 15 stuff. Yeah. So
it's like,
there we go.
We're gonna all have a good time.
Yep. Rank reset, galactic weapons,
Yep.
perks. Like, yeah, all that is next week.
The out of this world wording now makes so much more sense.
Oh, there you go. What do you think of that weapon though? Because it's like we did a hard pivot after Jade. It's like, okay, it's got to be something.
I think it's the right call.
Okay, cool.
I think that Jade, like, I mean, I don't want to shit talk Jade, but like, there's nothing wrong with the color green. It's not my personal favorite color. It just didn't hit, for like 3,000 competitive points. It's a good amount of competitive points, and that's a lot of games of playing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, a lot of people still love the gold, right?
Yeah.
And so, it was all right, but it's just like it felt like another variant of gold, and it's like, I think a lot of people probably think gold looks better on like weapons than green, right? But like this one though, it just feels more unique.
Yes.
I guess is the best way I can put it. And so I think it's the right call.
Cool.
It's more flashy too.
Yeah.
It stands out more.
I think when the argument in the player community comes down to like whether you like the color green or not, we probably didn't hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
But this one, I think it's like a totally different thing. Yeah, it's flashier. Like you kind of want something flashy.
Yeah, I think that having things to grind for and to work for is really important.
It's something we can do better at, especially for ranked players and higher end ranked players, is giving them a bit more to go after. Like we do have those weapon charms now that we're adding, but there's potentially more that we could do. We'd have to find other ways of showing it though in the game for some of the things that you could potentially get, because the charms they're a little bit more for yourself.
Objective Malga counts as 2 heroes and. That's wild. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I love this. This is like, what's kind of fun about it too? So, like obviously Overwatch has been flirting with like different things to do with heroes for a long time, right? And I think it's because like there's a fantasy there of like you look at a hero or anything like that and you're like, oh, what can they do? Like what are other things that they can do? And so this is sort of what I think a lot of people are going to want to do. They're just going to want to go in the practice range and just look at everybody and see what they can do, you know? And you can also hit F1. They're on the F1 screen, so you can see all your perks on the right. Yeah.
Wait, that's so cool. I didn't know that was here.
Yeah. So yeah, you just get it over there, and then it also shows you which ones you have selected, the ones that are larger over there.
Man, what is this? What is the thing at the bottom? I have 100. Wait, what is that? Is that when I hit my E now? Combat fuel. Critical hits grant Malga 2 temporary overhealth on cardiac overdrive for next use. So just give me another 100 health on top of it because I built it up. What? And is it also because I like them on?
It's the crit.
Okay. So it's like. Oh, wow. Okay.
And then you hit overdrive. And you deplete it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where there's a gameplay loop to it.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Ideally, some of the, God, how do I want to put this? Low skill floor, high value heroes, you know, could get
I'll say
skill gameplay loops like this
there's things that you could probably do to Malga to make them less like, you know, what do they have? They have another tank. Oh, this is my gameplay loop.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. That
Yep.
season of just that might have actually broken me a little bit. So I'm glad to hear that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's something for us to look at. We showed a bunch of Orisa in the perks and the stadium videos. I'm like, God, how many people are we triggering with?
I screamed.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Although that's like a really fun ability on Orisa, the charged spear. Because it feels different, you know? So it's like, one, I'm holding the button down longer, so there's a different interaction. And then you're thinking about how you're using it differently also because you're trying to line up like multiple heroes. So, I mean, there is like a little bit of extra skill to it, but yeah, I'm not going to like back away from that criticism and say that the perks totally fixes it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I know the word balancing is probably a scary word to throw out right now, but like, oh man, like this is gonna be wild because you're gonna have everyone under the sun who thinks something different is probably broken or super strong. I think that's when it's at its most fun though.
Yeah,
it's like, nobody knows.
There's a spectrum there, right? You know, to where it's like, I think what I saw at least, and you might have a different opinion, when we relaunched like the first Overwatch Classic, was it's like, hey, balance kind of felt like it was thrown out the window.
Yeah.
And like a little bit too far, you know, but it doesn't mean that you have to go to exactly where we're at right now. You know, there's a lot of like in between ground there. I think one of the things we've been talking about a lot lately on the team is just like, what is that balance between fair and fun?
Yeah.
Because having some of those OP moments is fun. And I think it's a bit of the reason why people even play a hero shooter is to kind of feel that, you know? Yeah, it's the hero fantasy, the power fantasy of that. And so like, I think we can inject more of that into the game. And this is our first version of that. And it's not by just balancing the heroes different. It's by introducing a new system that kind of pushes some of that.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be an interesting exercise for the team to go through balancing, you know, because we're trying to shift our philosophy a little bit while still making the game feel competitive, right?
I think you'll be able to do that for sure. Even I mean, real talk though, even like with like making the game competitive, like. Yeah, obviously, like people want to have like they don't want to feel like they're getting cheesed or anything like that. But this is gonna add so much depth to the game already. Like there's so much depth that was already packed in Overwatch, whether it's like through hero compositions, whether it's through picks, swaps, maps, choices. Like we're not even talking hero bans yet. But like you know. These perk systems are going to change the way people play, and you know, I think of like the really, really talented like one-trick players that are like the specialist players.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna have like 2 or 3 different tour players that all play so differently based on what abilities they've chosen or like to choose. And I think that'll keep the game fresh for much longer periods of time. Because, you know, like, as a season goes on, right, like once you get past like the first like 2, 3, 4 weeks, like before mid-season, right, like there's a point where the meta feels solved, like everyone's like, okay, like these are the characters that are strong, now we just gotta wait for another balance patch. This takes this gives more power and more urgency to those players, where it's like, you know, yeah, you know, we might have a quote-unquote meta that we think is really, really good, but there might be challenges or might be benefits or abilities that people haven't tried out yet because the perks are so much more dynamic, right?
Yep.
Certain little things like even like the Mauga thing I was just talking about, it's like that 100 extra overhealth. Oh, there's someone to respond. The 100 extra overhealth might be enough to sustain through whatever crazy burst meta is currently happening at the moment, but people haven't figured that out yet. And then you take in hero bans into account.
Yes.
You don't have time to test that out every single game. People might think something is the strongest meta, it starts getting banned all the time, and then they go, wait a minute, hang on, this other thing actually might be way better. And then you have people that are banning out both, trying to figure out which one's stronger. And then it actually ends up being neither of them were the strongest. There's a third that develops. And so by, you know, 2, 3, 4 weeks in, you're playing completely different comps, you're playing completely different characters, completely different builds with your perks and whatnot.
Yeah, and it's really like the stacking of those systems that does it, you know? Like, obviously, hero bans on its own is going to do something like that, but once you get a few systems that encourage that variety, I'm letting you do your reading, you know? There's like a lot to take in there.
I was screaming like, you have a perk, pick your perk, pick your perk. I'm like, oh yeah.
I wasn't going to point it out.
Yeah. You can't. Honestly, I'm so like locked in on everything else that I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, right? There's a lot going. I mean, I don't know how people stream and play well. It just feels impossible to me. I can barely watch you and talk, you know?
I'm actually not too bad at like.
You're doing good.
It's something that comes with time, I think, more than anything.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you spend enough time doing it, then it's like, it'll get much easier, and just being able to balance between the two. Like, if I stream games that are not Overwatch, I'm so bad at it. Like, I'll end up like not talking. I miss like chat messages or even donos or subs and stuff. But I've been playing Overwatch for so many years. It's like right now I know I'm pretty safe. I can look over, I can glance over, see what's going on for a second, and then I have like time built into the team fights.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so like hero bans and stuff. Yeah, so like I think it's gonna create like a lot of variety, you know.
Did you say how many hero bans?
I don't think we did. So, and I can talk about it a little bit, but I mean we're still testing the system internally. So like take all these details with a bit of a grain of salt. But
like you know, like what's like the leader maybe, or like thinking.
Yeah, well, this is the way it's implemented right now. You know, I could like talk about that and like hopefully this is the way it goes. But we do have like a preferred phase at the start of it where players can select the hero that they want to play. They're not protected. You know, that doesn't mean that hero is protected. No, they can still get banned out. We don't want you. Okay, yeah, we like there's weird things you could do.
I
like
thought we were in trouble. I'm not gonna lie.
Right? Okay.
You started talking about them, the door opened, and I went.
Johanna's at the door. You know. So there'll be a short, like a brief preferred phase. So you can just kind of like indicate who you'd like to play.
So like almost like hovering right now, where it's like, hey, I want to play Cass. Like, hey guys, don't ban Cass. For me.
But I mean, like you were mentioning Mauga before. Like, hey, like someone could like say, hey, I prefer Mauga, but like the whole team can vote against Mauga. It doesn't mean they're going to be able to play Mauga. Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you want to be able to have the freedom to do that. And then there's like there's a phase where like basically everybody votes at the same time, you know, and
like both teams.
Yep. Okay. And you'll each get right now. It's each get 3 votes.
Yeah.
They're each weighted, so your first one counts for a little bit more than the others, and then we're gonna ban up to 4 heroes after that. It could be that like you can skip votes if you want to. So if both teams vote for no one at all, no one gets banned. You know.
Really?
So yeah, but typically what happens is 4 heroes get banned at the end of it. There's like lots of edge cases. But if everyone's voting for the same 3 heroes, you're just gonna get 3 heroes banned.
Really?
Yeah, and then it's a max of 2 per role. You know, so like you can't ban 4.
Max of 2 per role.
Yeah, so you can't ban 4 tanks you know,
Interesting.
out of the pool. You
Okay.
know, like, but you could do 2 if you want to. And we talked about a protection for tanks, you know, because there's only 1 tank in there. So far, we would rather just start simpler, you know, and do something like that. But that's kind of like the way it works right now. And we'll see, like, as we play test a little bit more and get more feedback, what happens to it. And it's interesting, like, we've been talking about, I mean, the community, the team, we've been talking about hero bands forever, right? All the pluses and minuses of it. And it gets into that thing that happens a lot in Overwatch where the team doesn't really give a definitive statement on it or do something about it. And then the community kind of just goes back and forth, you know, and either get called shills or not shills on it, or like, here's the reasons, like, here's the definitive reasons for why it has to be bad or has to be good. And so we had it on the schedule to do this year. And we've had like internal, like, they were like passion project prototypes that people have built, you know, over the years. And then you see another game do it, and you're like, oh shoot, that was like really obvious, you know. That is like.
Can I be honest with you for a second?
Yeah.
I think we, and I don't mean like you, I mean like all of us as a community, as everybody, have been way too paralyzed on being perfect.
Yes.
And wanting to like, is this actually right? Like for hero bands, right? We argued for years, right? We argued for years that like there wasn't enough heroes yet. Someday, right? Someday we'll do it.
Right.
But like we all like, you know, we have the conversation of like, you know, what about the Genji only player who wants to queue up and just play Genji, and that's what they enjoy playing Overwatch. Well, if they queue into a game and they get Genji banned, like they're not gonna have a good time. Like you're taking that experience away from them.
Yep.
And like you can't always make everyone happy at all times. You can try your best to make sure everyone has a good time and has a fair time. But like sometimes there might be decisions that are a little bit more controversial.
Yep.
And I'd like to see you guys just going for it.
That's what this is like. That's hopefully what Perks and Stadium and Hero Bands are like signifying. And like I hope we're able to do more of it to where it's like we were very conservative and sort of like risk averse on some of this, and then there was a lot of sort of like edge case protection that we talk about where it's like we should rather just focus on fun, exciting releases for players.
Yep.
Totally.
This is evil. I don't know why I just thought about it now. You talked earlier about like wanting to do more like competitive rewards. Is there anything you've got cooking that you would want that you have like an idea that would be okay sharing, or
not that I could talk about right now?
Fine,
I mean, the only one we've got in there is the new charms, you know, and some of the titles for season 15.
I saw someone in chat ask on hero bands. I don't know if this is something you can talk about either. Do you know if it's going to be like an all, like what, like is there going to be any restrictions on who has it? Like is it going to be like certain ranks? Is it going to be just like, you know what I mean? Like where the lines will be?
God, I don't know if I could talk about that yet.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No worries. I don't even, if I'm completely honest with you, I think there's answers that people will probably think are the best answers, and I'll say stuff out loud, right, as like a thing to relate to. I think that there's like arguments for, you know, you should only have hero bands at certain ranks.
Yeah.
And like, because, you know, a lot of players who end up playing like every day, like that are more casual, they want to just get in and play their characters or whatever. And then once you get to a certain point, like that's when the games get like more serious. That's when you start kind of, you know, like really, that's when you have like more cohesion. It's the difference between like why people, you know, if they see like a YouTube video or a streamer playing in their game, it's like, well, they have 4 people calming in their game and everyone's tryharding. But if I queue up, then I have like, you know, little Timmy who's running Genji in the backline 4 and 16 and just like kind of running it down. It doesn't feel like you have the same experience. So it's like, you know, it is kind of like a little bit of a disconnect between those two. But then there's also like, well, you know, why limit it to just a certain rank? Like, why not give all players that ability? Like, yeah,
Winston
sure.
is after you, by
yeah,
the
he
way.
really,
like,
he really
what is that?
You know, like sometimes like players are gonna just like ban whatever pro player or streamer tells or has been made videos like, oh yeah, we always ban these heroes because they're really, really strong, right? And then they go into their games and always mimic those bans, even if they don't even understand why those are being banned. But then what about like the players that, you know, want to play, that like don't like playing against Junkrat? I think Junkrat's OP. Well, then you can just ban out Junkrat and you don't have to deal with them anymore. You know?
Yeah, I think the things that like that you get out of the system applies to all ranks, you know. So it's like, yeah, like that you mentioned the Junkrat example of just like, hey, this like hero existing in my games makes them less fun, right? To feel like you have like some impact over that is like a really big deal, you know. And I think you get that out of a hero ban system, and you get more variety in the types of compositions that you go up against with something like that. I think that you're going to get that in every rank. So like I saw someone in there said, oh, Gavin said it was going to be every rank. So like I'll just blame this all on him, right? Yeah. He said it in another stream, but yeah, like that's how we're going to do it. Is it's going to start in every rank. If there's a problem, we'll try to address it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it won't be in quick play though.
Yeah,
you know, like quick play is different.
Definitely not. Definitely wouldn't do it in quick play.
The question that we're gonna have, and right now we in the spotlight video we said map voting is gonna be for comp. Like there's a potential that goes to quick play also. Really? I think it's a little bit different when you're saying like, hey, the reason I'm in quick play is I want to be playing all these different heroes and trying them. Maps are kind of different. I think it's a different case where you're like, hey, I just hate playing on X map and I have a bad time doing it, you know? And it's like,
more power to
you
players.
might want to, you might want to be able to do that, like no matter like what rank it's at, you know? It means we get less testing on some maps, but one of the things we're most excited about for map voting is to see the maps that are like
people love
always at the bottom, because then it's like, hey, we can do something about it. We'll actually see if King's Row is people's favorite. Yeah.
You have a little bit of a bias maybe towards King's Row still.
Maybe.
For those who don't know, Aaron was the maker of King's Row. Just throwing.
I was the designer on it. Yeah, they're like there's a lot of artists that made it look really, really good.
Yeah. Well, it's always a full team effort.
Yeah.
You know. So you like King's Row, then well, you know.
Yeah, and then they're gonna list all the maps that I made that they hate. You know, that's what's coming
we can
next.
Do that. Dorado.
Yeah, there's like Dorado on there.
Yeah, Dorado. I mean, the rework's much better. Like that's that's pretty.
That
good.
wasn't me though. That was other people fixing my stuff. You know, but the game was different back then too. Like even like the original Temple of Anubis, there was this very defense-oriented, like defense-first view of the game. You know, and breaking through chokes and stuff like that. It's kind of how we started. And it's it's obviously not where we're at right now. Like more movement through a map. You know, it just feels better.
I just realized that I didn't realize my perks reset between the rounds. Like when we went to overtime. Because I thought I had my perks selected, but I apparently didn't.
It shouldn't. Oh, are you guys? Are you in like playing a competitive format?
I think it's competitive rules.
Oh, they reset between the flip.
Well, that's pretty cool though, because like then you can kind of choose different stuff. It's like, you know what, on defense we want this. It's better. It's better perk to take. And this is the shield. Oh man,
Oh shoot, I should probably go in there actually. I was just looking.
I probably have kept. Oh god, how much time was
this? Is fun. I don't know, like 30 seconds or something.
I appreciate you sitting down and going through a lot of this stuff.
It is so fun.
It is always fun. I always have a good time with these.
It's a crazy, like that Moira right there. I don't know if she knew what was happening because that detonation happens later. Sometimes you can't do anything about it. And it's frustrating. Yeah. But she could have dashed out of it. Yeah. If she had dash up.
I mean, I'm still kind of getting used to it, but I've definitely gotten stuck a few times and just like didn't move and didn't even.
Yeah, like I'm dead. Yep. Yeah, it happens sometimes. You can get saved too, which is nice. Yeah. Okay. This was awesome. I'll see you around.
Yeah, I'll see you around. Thank you for being here as always. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for always being transparent and talking about stuff with us. We appreciate it.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Good luck wherever you go next.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
That was really cool. Cool guy, Aaron. I've told you guys for a long time that that guy's awesome. He cares so much. Really a genuine smart dude who wants to make the game as good as possible and wants to build it with the community. So I think, unfortunately, he had large shoes to fill with Jeff, and the on-camera charisma Jeff had. But like, I think today was probably one of his best showings with the spotlight. That's at least what I think so far. And then coming on, like, if you guys don't remember, like a year ago when we did these, like he loosens up so much more, has a good time with it. We get to just talk about stuff. Probably got him in trouble with somebody, but like that's not my problem. Oh. You know what I learned, chat? I thought my right click was on like a cooldown, so I wasn't using it very much. And I realized that was a big mistake. Oh my god, what am I gonna do? Dude, Orissa's scary. Dude, the shield Orissa's actually terrifying. That is so strong. Oh nah. Oh nah. Nope. 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 Died. I'm trying to get out. Also, God, I am playing so horribly. I've gotten a little bit better as I've gotten used to the sensitivity I'm on and whatever I'm on, but also after this, let me run. I'm gonna run through all the rest of the characters that I haven't looked at yet. Chat. Sound good? Yeah. I am so ass. I'm actually hot ass at this.
It's really hard.
She is really hard. She's very mechanically demanding. I'm blaming it on my setup, on just like not.
That's what Jay said too.
I don't even know what sensitivity or DPI I'm at. I'm just kind of winging it. So, you know, that's what I'm gonna go with. And then Aaron said I've heard that excuse before, so I was like, all right, dude.
She got the charge. Oh, no, she's such a barrier. Okay.
How's today been? Like,
yeah,
you been on other streams?
It's been like a interesting response to everything. You know, we're pretty happy to like see like teams been working pretty hard on this stuff for quite a while. So it's good to see it all kind of come out in fruition. Like comes out next week. So,
yep.
Yeah. How is it your first game or?
I've played a few games so far, but I have been not the greatest gamer in them.
Okay.
Also, I'm the only person with my actual name, so I'm
so
not
you don't even know who your face is.
I'm
You're getting targeted a little bit.
sometimes.
You don't even know who it is.